He's taken out campaign manager Brad Parscale. Well, he sidelined him. I mean, this is a guy who had no previous proven political track record, who helped with the digital effort during President Trump's first campaign and was then promoted. They're now brought in a true political big hitter. So while the dump campaign manager remains on the team, we now have an old hand at the helm, and others have been quietly brought on board as well. Now, there was a picture of President Trump that was taken on June 20, shortly after his rally in Tulsa, Oklahoma, where you see him, he's at night, he's arrived back at the White House, and we're not showing the photo now, but it's the first time you've ever seen that's the photo. I mean, you can see the exasperation. Now, his campaign manager organised that rally. They said 600,000 people had bought tickets. They couldn't fill a 9,000-seat auditorium. It looked terrible. It sounded terrible. And the poll numbers are terrible. And I think that photo shows that some of the realities are starting to settle in with the president.
Well, maybe he was just tired from a long flight, though.
Well, mate, I don't know how he keeps up the pace, especially at his age, but we have never seen a photograph of him looking anything like that. And we do know that the pressure's been building both within the White House and within his campaign for change because, mate, you should see the numbers internally and externally that are coming in. The latest that were published this week come from the Wall Street Journal, not exactly a bastion of the left. And that shows that nationally, President Trump is trailing by at least 11%.
Yeah. No, well, Wall Street, you're right there. It is as close to the centre as you get, but I'm just a bit fixated on that photograph because you know this, that Donald Trump doesn't do anything without thinking it through, right? So there was a reason why he wanted to look like that for those photographs. What would that have been?
Perhaps you can argue. I mean, he's obviously very, very aware of his imaging. We know that he is focused on that, which is why I think, for me, this one feels like one of the first photos where he's dropped his guard because apparently he was so disappointed with the turnout at this rally, he didn't want to go on. People had to convince him to go on and go through the rally. And if you watched the rally, it wasn't the normal Donald Trump. He feeds off a crowd. And I think he just came home feeling so deflated. And it's just a gut. Yeah. But I think that photo shows that. And, nationally, the Wall Street Journal says he's trailing by 11%. In the 3 key battle states that he needs, he's way behind Joe Biden. And now, even states like North Carolina, Florida, and Arizona may be in play. So if the election were held today, Joe Biden would win.
Let's just quickly get to the Russians because this is developing overnight, Michael. So they've been accused of targeting coronavirus vaccine research in the US, UK and Canada. So can you take us through the cyber attack? That's what it is.
Yes, well, there's not much that I can tell you more than that. All 3 intelligence agencies came out and essentially jointly made the statement. So the first thing that tells you is that those 3 countries are very certain about what kind of attack just took place and who was behind it. They're saying that Russia tried to cyber infiltrate, to steal research on the COVID vaccine from private firms and other institutions, because we all know the first country who comes up with a vaccine wins. Now, bear in mind, I just heard Secretary of State Mike Pompeo here in America talk an hour ago, and when he was asked about this Russian hack, which he says, look, I'll confirm it was the Russians. I'm not going to comment any further, but let me remind you, the Chinese tried this just a few weeks ago. So look, the cyber warfare over the coronavirus is on steroids, mate.
Yeah, it's really worrying, that, isn't it?
All the global games and the espionage and the covert activity that's happening, well, everyone else is looking over here at the pandemic that these countries and these rogue states are up to is unbelievable.
Cold war with China at the moment, Michael, some say.
Well, look, mate, I wouldn't put it there yet. In fact, I will not put it there yet. And I desperately hope that we do not end up we of the Western Hemisphere end up with a Cold War with China. Right now, it's pretty frosty. You know, everyone's wearing their anoraks when it comes to the relationship. But, mate, it's not a Cold War yet. And look, I'm telling you, given the balance of power, given Australia's precarious position alone in the Asia-Pacific and the Indo-Pacific, mate, we have to hope that it does not become a Cold War.